General Anthony Wayne, Mad Dog Anthony. Born and raised in Chester County, Pennsylvania, actually not too far from Plumsteadville, Pennsylvania. His nickname, Mad Dog Anthony, doesn't actually come from his experiences on the battlefield. In the early winter of 1781, Wayne is at winter quarters with his Pennsylvania division in Morristown, New Jersey. During that time, one of the soldiers of the division, Jimmy the Drover, was arrested for some local civil problems. The soldier demanded that Wayne intervene and stop him from being punished, but Wayne threatened to have him flogged, and Jimmy the Drover reportedly responded, "Anthony is mad." From that point on, his friends decided to name him Mad Dog Anthony. And so that name stuck with him, and we know him as that nickname now. The Revolutionary War became the war that General Wayne Anthony is most known for. It began with him as a respectable southeastern Pennsylvania farmer and businessman. He supported the Patriot cause, and in January of 1776, he gained the commission of a colonel with the command of the 4th Pennsylvania Battalion. He served for a while at Fort Ticonderoga and was promoted there to a brigadier general in February of 1777. Washington then transferred him to the Maine Continental Army in April to command a brigade of Pennsylvanians. One of the things that distinguished him is that he worked really hard on keeping his men looking sharp as possible. And he himself set the example and was known to be a very snappy dresser. He was a colorful leader, a very colorful personality, but he was exceptionally dynamic. In fact, the name Mad Dog really doesn't describe his actions on the battlefield. He kept his cool, he was calm, he calculated well to achieve success. He's known for fighting well in the battles of Brandywine, Germantown, Monmouth, and Stony Point. In fact, it's at Stony Point that an enemy musket ball scalps his head during an attack, and Congress actually awards him a gold medal for surviving that attack. Wayne left the Continental Army as a major general at the end of the Revolution in 1783, and afterwards served briefly in the House of Representatives. This brings us to the point in history that we are introduced to him. It's in 1792 that President Washington appoints him the commander of a new professional army. Their first task is to fight the Northwest Indian War in the territory, which was part of Ohio at that time. Wayne crushes the Native American army at the Battle of Fallen Timbers in August of 1794. In 1796, Wayne decides he's going to move his headquarters back to Pittsburgh and is on his way to sail from Detroit to Presque Isle, which is now Erie, and he suffers ill health. We have to remember that he has some wounds from the Revolutionary War, some musket ball wounds. He also contracted malaria. He has a lifetime of poor habits, and he receives the affliction of a painful case of gout. He's in severe pain when he arrives in November of 1796. Eventually, a stomach ulcer ruptures, causes an infection, and on December the 15th of 1796, Wayne passes away. A simple grave is placed with a simple stone monument and a small wooden fence by a captain who was his friend in that area. Years later, though, that area becomes abandoned and his gravesite is neglected, and his daughter wants a proper resting place in Radnor Township in southeastern Pennsylvania, St. David's. So this is where our story becomes a little interesting and comes with sort of a tale. His daughter herself isn't able to bring her father's body back to have it put in a proper resting place, so she encourages her brother to do that. Her brother, Isaac, travels to Erie in September of 1809 to retrieve the general's remains and bring them back to the area. He hires someone to bring up the casket, And they open the casket in hopes of just retrieving some simple bones to return back to the other end of Pennsylvania. And they find that his body is actually in pretty good condition. In fact, only one foot, part of a foot, and part of a leg has decomposed. At this point in time in history, they do not embalm corpses. So they decide that they are going to separate the flesh from the bones and basically boil him down to bones only. It's a very strange part of our story. They end up taking these bones and putting them in a box, and the son, Isaac Wayne, is going to drive across the state of Pennsylvania in a cart with this box of bones on the back of it. Here's where the legend becomes a little strange. On these frontier roads where it's very bumpy, this box often flies open and bones seem to fall out. So the story goes that every January the 1st, Wayne's ghost rides along this route that his son Isaac drove on looking for his bones. So we have a little myth and a story that goes along with a very famous General Anthony Wayne, who is now buried with a headstone in a cemetery close to St. David's, Pennsylvania. General Wayne Anthony is remembered with a war memorial both at Valley Forge National Park and Stony Bridge National Park.